We all understand there's only one champion that can be crowned. That one champion that was crowned in March Madness, women's college basketball, was none other than South Carolina University. Coach Dawn Staley led her team to an undefeated season. They went from wire to wire, and they got the job done. But one thing I want to know is, NCAA, what are you guys looking to do to move women's college basketball forward? I mean, I was watching Coach Staley on the pivot, and she made this profound statement that really just blew me away. She stated that sometimes the decision makers of women's basketball stick with the same narrative when it doesn't fit. Oh my goodness. Coach Staley, if you was a rapper right now, you just spit some bars. She just spit some bars. Why do I say that? Because people are not looking at what's really going on right now. Look at everything that's transpiring. All we're looking at is, oh, Caitlin Clark, she got all the records. She shot the lights out this bad boy. But she wasn't the only one that uplifted women's sports, women's basketball, that is, for college. Women's college basketball. She was not the only one that uplifted this sport. But guys, y'all know what time it is. It's another episode of Blow the Whistle with your host, Coach Walker. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, like, share, subscribe to the channel, to Marley Sports Network. These are segments. Blow the Whistle with your host, Coach Walker, are segments that we do where we talk about different issues, things that's going on out there in the sports world outside of HBCU sports. Guys, I got to tell you right now, this thing here is crazy because what Coach Staley said on the pivot kind of took my breath away because I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, she got some valid points here. And right now, we just had the WNBA draft. So we're over a week. We're already over a week from when the national champion was crowned for women's basketball, when South Carolina won the game. But I want to know, what is the NCAA looking to do next when it comes to women's basketball? Are y'all going to blow the momentum that you have? What exactly are you going to do? But before I get into all that, hey, y'all make sure y'all get your blankets, your drinks, your snacks, your sandwich, your chips, whatever it is you need. Make sure you got all that right now. Get comfy, because we about to get on in this thing, because this crap is getting out of control. Yes, I said it was getting out of control, because I'm trying to figure out exactly the NCAA women's basketball season has ended. South Carolina Gamecocks, the Lady Gamecocks, they went wire to wire, going undefeated in the season to win the national championship. This is the third season in which they have been in contention to play for the national championship. They would have went back-to-back last season, but Caitlin Clark and Iowa said, not on our watch, you ain't gonna do it. They beat them in the Final Four to play LSU for the national championship, in which LSU knocked them off and won. Angel Reese and the crew, Flau'jae Johnson, they was out there and said, hey, we got this thing under control. Coach Mulkey was letting the world know, hey, we in this thing. Y'all better understand. We're going to come on back and load up and do it again this year. Unfortunately, they fell short. They fell short in, the Elite Eight. They fell short. Against who? Iowa. All of the ring me and the Tony Yayo, you can't see me. Everybody was excited to watch everything that was going on with these women playing basketball out there on the court. You got Juju Watkins over there. You got the ladies over at UConn. You got the ladies at Texas, Tennessee. You got all of these different teams around the country that's coming in this thing, looking to compete and do what they could do to possibly become the next national champion. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. Dawn Staley had her crew ready to go. The Lady Gamecocks came out there and they showed up and showed out. Yes, you saw Caitlin Clark get off early in the game. I mean, heck, she even shot a forearm to a young lady just to get wide open so she can shoot a shot. And you know, a lot of folks sat there and they looked at that thing. Now, like, wait a minute. We ain't going to have this kind of game going tonight. Y'all ain't blowing no whistle. You know, so the officials did get, you know, they got a little caught with the whistle there. You know, got to dry them off with the whistle, swallow that boy a little bit. They couldn't blow it. But the game progressed on, and South Carolina ended up getting the W behind Raven Johnson getting in there, picking old girl pocket, picking Caitlin Clark's pocket several times, blocked the shot off her head. I mean, all kind of crazy stuff going on. Like the year before when Caitlin Clark played against South Carolina, leading her team, her Iowa Lady Hawkeyes team against South Carolina. She was sitting there, waving her off, waving Raven Johnson off like, go on and shoot that. We ain't worried about you standing behind no three-point line shooting. You ain't gonna make it. You can't shoot like that. Well, you know what? Raven Johnson sat down. I think she took that to heart and said, guess what? I'm gonna come back this year. I'm gonna crack your tail and show you what time it is. But I'm saying all of that to say this. You see all of the different things that I talked about there as far as what took place last year and this season. There's a lot of different things that went on. Juju Watkins, freshman, I think she was the second leading scorer that's in women's basketball. Heck, you got the third leading scorer over at Villanova. She just transferred to Iowa. What does that tell you? That's telling you right now that these women are looking to put themselves in position so that they can get out here and compete and get national notoriety as far as what's going on. And the only way that that's going to happen, NCAA, you got to step your tails up to the daggone plate to keep things rolling in the manner in which they're rolling. Yeah, we all understand the fact that 18.9 million viewers watched the game this year. Last year, the numbers was that compared to last year, it was up 89.5%. Compared to 2022, it was up 290-something%. So that lets you know right there, you got people watching this game. And why I'm saying all of this, why am I giving you these numbers? I'm giving you these numbers because of the fact that there's some media rights going on with this. Broadcasting, rights going on with this. You got sponsorships, corporate sponsors, things of that nature. It's time to get them bucks. Because if I'm not mistaken, off of March Madness, you guys made what, 1.28 billion? That's a lot of jack. So I'm trying to figure out, when will these ladies get their share? When will they get their lioness shares as far as units that you give out for the different teams that's playing in the NCAA tournament? They deserve their money just like you pay for the men. You've been paying the men for the longest. But like I stated before, we've already sat here. We saw the NCAA National Championship. We had the WNBA draft that just took place. You had 2.95 million people that watched that. Between 2.5 and 2.9 million people watched the WNBA draft that just took place. Now, the one thing that I do like about the WNBA, and I hope they continue to keep, marketing this thing in the manner in which they're doing, you got Cardoza and Angel Reese on the same team that's going to end up playing against Caitlin Clark, who's over with the Fever. So you got Chicago against Indiana. Those two are right there together, so they're going to see each other multiple times. And you're going to see the ratings for that thing just go through the roof. What I'm trying to get everybody to understand is, yes, there's a lot of folks out there that feel Caitlin Clark uplifted women's basketball on her own. She didn't do it by herself. She did not. You had there's a lot of young ladies out there that was not put into that equation as far as what they were able to do to move the needle forward when it comes to women's basketball. Give them their credit for that. Because guess what? Right now, you need to be finding someone who's going to come out here and be your next shining star to continue to keep pushing this thing forward. But we're not thinking that far right now. Right now, the NCAA should be sitting back looking at, hey, you know what, guys? We daggone had a great, daggone good season. Let's find a way we can set up a couple of these games where these teams end up meeting each other, like early in the season. After all of the different tournaments or whatever have you go on, let's see if we can find a way to get them to, play each other in primetime TV. Because, you are getting that media deal. You get that media money. You get that broadcast money. Come on now. Let's kick back to the ladies. See, the funny thing is, I'm looking at everything that's going on right now with all of this, and I'm very excited about where this can go. And I'm not sitting here trying to kick the NCAA in the behind as far as how they can really let this fall off go off the side of the rails and then say, well, Caitlin ain't here no more, so there's not really much we can do as far as with trying to push this thing forward. But what y'all can do is make sure y'all pay these ladies for the hard work and effort that they put into this sport to continue to keep people watching what's going on out there on that basketball court. They've earned it. It's beyond measure of what they've earned. The funny thing is this: even if you didn't want to name a star right now that you wanted to put on your pedestal and push them up to the highest of high, you got a coach that's very decorated that just won the national championship. They had their first undefeated season in South Carolina University history. Yes, Dawn Staley. She didn't win in college, but she's a Naismith Award winner 2 years back to back. She is a Naismith College of the Year Award winner, was it 4 times, I'm sorry. She won playing in the WNBA. She won playing on the USA Olympic team. She's won as a coach. So exactly what are we talking about here? We have yet to sit down with any of these athletes that played in that national championship game for South Carolina and give them their just due. See, what we're doing is we're trying to play this game where we're giving out participation trophies, kind of like how the First Lady wanted to have Iowa and LSU come visit the White House because, both teams played so well. We want both teams to come. No, it don't work that way. It's supposed to be the winner. See, when we get to a point where now we want to pick and choose who we want to bring, that's what we start missing out at. And the sad part about it is you got a lot of analysts out here that want to talk about whenever particular teams win, they didn't win with class. Look how unclassy they are. Look at them over there. Look at them. Look at what they're over there doing. They have no class. You said South Carolina had no class, and they was hugging their coach on the sideline. Because the coach was over there. She was overwhelmed as far as what took place. LSU, all they did was the same thing that Caitlin Clark was doing to everybody else throughout the whole freaking tournament. Ring me. You can't see me. So when it's done back to her or done back to the team, it's a problem now. See, it's funny. We got a lot of selective amnesia going on out here that needs to stop. I mean, I get it. Some folks going to feel a particular way. And they, hey, coach, you wrong, man. You shouldn't say that. No. We need to say it. And it's not to bash anybody. It's not to belittle or berate anyone. It's just, listen, guys, these are some things that's going on that need to stop. I mean, don't get me wrong. Looking at these ladies out there on that court play ball, oh, my God. You have to give them their props. You have to give them their props. I mean, yes. You look at go back for the past 2 years. Caitlin Clark she was able to beat South Carolina in the 22-23 season. Caitlin Clark was able to beat South Carolina 22-23 season. She lost to LSU in the championship game. Come back in the 23-24 season. Caitlin Clark beats LSU. But then you lose to South Carolina in the national championship game. Now, funny thing is, no championships, but we still talking GOAT status. And even with that, I have to ask the question, why do we continue to keep moving the goalposts when it comes to wanting to label somebody the GOAT? Yes, she has, 45 different records. I give her that, both men and women. That scoring record is still up in the air because folks are saying, not so fast because there was somebody else that had more points than she did that people are saying should have been in the record books and it's not. And they played with a bigger ball and they didn't have a 3-point line. They had a 2-point line. So all I'm saying is that, there's a lot of hoopla going on with that. So that's something else to take a look at and understand as well. But again, Raven Johnson played her behind off. Cardoza played her behind off. The other players on that South Carolina team played their freaking behinds off. And we ain't even talking about them. We ain't talking about the coach. But the one thing I give Coach Staley her props for You don't hear her fussing, complaining about nothing. All she's doing is still uplifting everybody and continue to keep moving forward with her team. And everybody trying to figure out, like, man, how in the heck is she doing this? Well, I mean, I like the TikToks too. Her and the team, they get out there and do the TikToks. Coach Staley, you be jamming TikToks. So continue to keep doing them TikToks. I appreciate y'all. But see, it's not about, oh, coach, you being one-sided. You only talking about, what they're doing, nobody else. Listen, I like all of the women teams as far as what they're doing out here. I mean, heck, if you wanted a story to talk about somebody, talk about Tamika Reed over at Jackson State and what she's been able to do with her Jackson State women's basketball team, that Ladies Tigers basketball team. They're beating Power 5 teams. They're competing for the championship within their conference every year. They're winning the in-season championship, going undefeated in conference play. I think they did that 2 years, not 2 years in a row, but they've done that twice already. So why aren't these people being talked about? There's a lot. I'm just giving you stories out there to pay attention to that can be discussed. But we're not talking about none of this stuff. If you don't want to talk about Coach Staley, Coach Tamika Reed, Coach Yumiora, Coach Mulkey, or any of the other women's basketball coaches out there, let's talk about the ladies themselves. Like I stated before, Dawn Staley's decorated. She's a decorated coach. She's a decorated athlete. I mean, these women got out there on the court, and when I say they got down, they got down. I mean, talk about Juju Watkins from USC and her experience as a freshman, leading her team to the Final Four. I mean, talk about UConn, Paige Buchers, LSU, Flau'jae Johnson, South Carolina, Raven Johnson, Iowa, Hannah Stuck. I mean, there's a lot of different players that could be discussed out there that, you can get storylines from and continue to keep moving this train forward. Because the people want to know about the athletes. They don't care about none of the, all of the hoopla. I mean, the coaches and the athletes, what they offer, what they bring to the table. Those are things that you can offer to the people so that they have something that's tangible that they can sink their teeth into and say, man, you know what? I need to pay more attention to that. I need to kick in and do something, do whatever as far as with, being a fan. Let me go get some T-shirts. Let me go do this. Let me go buy season tickets, whatever have you. Help them out, man. NCAA, y'all are getting a lion's share out of all of this money that's coming to these daggone conferences. Help these daggone teams out, man. Like I said, some of this stuff that's going on makes no sense. Like I stated before, all of this daggone advertising money, the broadcasting rights, the ticket sales, the corporate sponsors, the television advertising. I'm like, come on, man. NCAA, y'all are making some serious jack off this thing. Like I stated before, y'all made what, 1.28 billion? 1.28 billion. 1.28 billion. I don't think we asked for much. I mean, like I said before, you could have sat down and talked to Raven Johnson. She guarded she guarded the athlete that many of you consider as the GOAT. Shut her down. Now, if you want to sit here and say, she had 30 points, how many times did she shoot the ball? And from my understanding, the number of times she shot the ball averaged 1 point per shot. Or 1.1, 1.2 points per shot. I mean, like I said, when the smoke clears and we come back and the season starts all over again, who's going to be that star? What is the narrative going to be? What is the narrative going to be? I mean, we sat back. We watched some phenomenal basketball. We watched the young ladies come down the court. They crossing each other up. You got the give and go. You got ladies splitting two defenders to go over to scoop and score. You got the backdoor cuts being, passes coming in on a backdoor cut behind the defenders where they're scoring easy buckets. I'm like, what are we doing here? Again, you got Raven Johnson out here just running amok with this thing. I mean, all in the cookie jar. All in the cookie jar. She taking all of the cookies out the cookie jar. Just robbing that bad boy blind. And she led her team to a championship. But there's no conversation of that. So like I stated before, when you listen to what Coach Staley said in that interview, talking about how they stick to the same narratives when the narratives don't fit. And it's sad that people don't want to look at everything that's going on. It's sad. Like I said, Caitlin Clark is gone. She did phenomenal out here. Young lady can shoot that thing from the logo. I give her props on that. She's done some things that we have not seen in women's basketball. She is a talent. Not going to take that from her. But again, we putting folks up on some high pedestals. And they ain't got that championship, bro. We got something to talk about. That's our coach getting there. I'm like, hey, if you gonna put them on the pedestal, I'm like, where them championships at? That's all I'm asking for. Give me the championships. Give me the chips. I need some chips with my dip. If we're gonna do that, can I get the chips with the dip? That's all I want. But like I stated before, ladies, coaches want to see you guys get what is due to you and not shortchange. And all I'm doing is I'm listening to Coach Staley as far as what she talked about in that interview. And I mean, there's a lot of different things that go on. I mean, matter of fact, NCAA, why don't y'all talk to the ladies about mental health? Things that they have to deal with night in and night out going out there to compete. Is that something to be considered? Or y'all too busy worried about, let me count this dough. Let me count who we got this. Hey, how many zeros we got coming in here? Hey, what's the numbers? Everybody want to tell how many numbers, how many views y'all had on the game. But we ain't talking about the people that's in the game that's giving you the daggone views. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. So like I said, congratulations to all of the ladies that moved on from women's college basketball and was drafted into the WNBA. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the season kick off. I know this thing will be great. I cannot wait to see women's basketball start back up next season in the college ranks, because it's gonna be bananas. We already got athletes moving around. So we're gonna wait and see exactly how this thing gonna take off. But I promise you, it's gonna be some phenomenal games going on, and it's gonna be some upsets gonna happen probably early on. But NCAA, all I'm trying to do is give y'all a little game, a little insight on what y'all might want to consider doing, because right now y'all sitting pat too much right now. Somebody need to jump out here and set ignorance on fire and get this thing going. This fire need to be blazing right now. Yeah, I know. It's a week past when the champion was crowned, which is South Carolina, for women's basketball, and already I'm looking for something else to go on now to tell us what can we expect for women's basketball next season. My question is, are y'all gonna be up for the task, or are y'all gonna blow the opportunity? But like I stated before, Coach Staley said it simple and plain. Sometimes the decision makers of women's basketball will stick with the same narrative when it doesn't fit. And will this be another opportunity that we see this? We're going to find out in just a few months. But guys, Coach going to go ahead and get up on out this thing. But until next time, be the one and lead.